Hey, if you're new here, my name is Miranda and my fiance's name is Tristan. We started 2020 with my recovery from a laparoscopy to treat endometriosis. In the April of 2020, we were supposed to start IVF, but obviously COVID had other ideas. In the meantime, I got pregnant and then lost our miracle baby, Amberly. It was the hardest thing that either of us have ever been through, and watching this footage back now, it still upsets me so much to see what a dark place we were in. But it's 2021 now, and we have new adventures on the horizon, and we want to take you with us. This is us 5 months later. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So today is the 8th of January 2021.
Which means that tomorrow we are going for a scan and a blood test, which, if they come back okay, means we're starting IVF next month.
Woohoo!
The scan is to check that I don't have any more cysts on my ovaries. I mean, my doctor said scarring.
Is that what he referred to?
That's what he referred to. I think he meant like endometriosis.
How can he see scarring?
I don't know. I think he meant endometriosis adhesions. We'll see.
We shall see.
So that's the scan. And then the blood test is to look at my AMH levels, which kind of give us an idea.
Which stands for? Anti-Mullerian
hormone. And it
got it right that time.
doesn't happen often. And it gives us an idea of kind of like my egg reserve, what my ovaries have got left. Last time that we had one of those tests, it was just over a year ago, and my levels came back as 4.7. They're meant to be about 35, and I'm 26, so that is decidedly low. That's like someone that's going through menopause low, isn't it?
Now, it's just an indication, so it doesn't necessarily mean you've got bad eggs. You could have, as I referred to before, banging eggs.
Banging eggs!
But we don't know. The main thing is that we know that your egg number is much lower than it should be, and so the best course of action is IVF.
Also, you can kind of throw into the mix that Tris, bless him, has got some problems himself.
I've got all sorts going on. Not as much as you, actually.
No, not as much.
I've got a bit of an issue with my sperm. No.
He's tried to do this a couple of times. Now he's giving himself the giggles.
It's actually quite serious. So, let's not be laughing.
Sorry.
I have an issue with my sperm. Now, when they look at sperm, they measure them in different ways. They can look at the size, they can look at the speed, they can look at the shape, they can look at how many of them there are. My sperm have issue with their shape, so the morphology is not right. I have
I think it's 3.
3% of my sperm are in the right shape, which seems really low, but most people are averaging like 10 to 15. So it's not crazy low, but it's low enough to cause concern, and coupled with your issues kind of means that the only option is
ICSI.
Ooh,
So.
I thought I'd say IVF.
Oh, sorry. IVF. Well, actually,
We don't actually know.
let's give a little brief rundown very quickly. The reason why we were supposed to have IVF is because my fallopian tubes were damaged from endometriosis, and therefore we thought, it's difficult for the sperm to travel up the tube to get to the eggs. The reason why it might be ICSI is because the shape of Tristan's sperm is such that they will struggle to penetrate the egg if they do manage to get there. ICSI is when you inject a sperm into an egg, and IVF is when you do this, which is our little favourite demonstration. So we'll hopefully find out tomorrow, maybe a little better idea of which one we're going with.
Also worth mentioning that when we were on a call with him previously, we had COVID back in December, and he was like, we don't actually know how COVID will affect things. So it could be that all my sperm are just completely shot to pieces.
Don't do that, I don't say that, put that into the universe.
I don't know.
I hadn't even thought about that.
But then again, we won't know until I do my sample. See, there was less of, we did take before, I mind, that's too much. Until we get the sample from me, we won't know where we're at with it. So
are you doing a sample?
I hope not. Not ready. I'm not prepared.
Not right now on camera. That's not what the people came to see.
Wow. Okay. Very different.
Here we go. Oh, it's so cringy. We struggle so much. No, genuine question. This time round, are you supposed to do a sample full stop?
Not tomorrow.
But you're going to have to do a sample to
create ICSI in the first place, /
Yeah,
IVF.
they don't have my sperm from 12 months ago, just sat in a fridge.
I don't know, they might do.
I don't think they have.
We are going to film everything. When I learned that we were going to struggle to get pregnant, the first thing that I did, like I did with the endometriosis diagnosis, like I did with the miscarriage, like I did with everything, was turn to YouTube, because it's just a fountain of knowledge. It's real people, honestly speaking about genuine situations that they've been in. And as great as doctors are and as important as they are, sometimes I find that the community on YouTube and on social media is just that little bit more supportive. I will say, we love our consultant.
Oh my god, more than anything.
He's such a babe, and he's like wickedly funny, isn't he?
He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's got a really dry sense of humour, though. We get on with him, he's great. But I just mean like other women, other couples, it's nice seeing other people's stories. So I'm hoping, we can kind of give a little bit back.
I think when you're going through something and, like you say, you search for it, hearing a doctor talking you through the process is one thing, but be able to watch someone injecting themselves and going to the appointment and saying, okay, this is what's happening now. And you realise that this rigid structure of how they like things to go isn't necessarily how it's going to be. So we are kind of prepared more for things to not go as well as they should do.
It's like the doctors offer like a timeline, but naturally that can't always happen. So we've seen kind of alternatives, and I suppose we should also say this isn't necessarily going to work first time round. We have to kind of guard ourselves a little bit, because IVF cycles, lots of people do like 3, 4, 5 of them before they kind of have the success that they want.
On that point as well, because we're in a position now where Miranda's AMH is really low, we don't know how low it's dropped since the last blood test 14 months ago, 15 months ago, whatever it was. We don't know how much it's dropped since then. So it could have dropped by 3, which is a big drop from 4.7. It could have dropped by 0.1, 0.01 even. We don't actually know.
Yeah, could have not dropped.
We need to think about the future, don't we? This is the thing. We already said previously that we were going to freeze embryos, which was always the plan. Since everything happened with Amberley, we now know we want to reimplant one. But if we reimplant one and then come back in 3 years' time to do IVF, we might not have any eggs left.
Yeah, exactly.
So we need to have enough that we can say, okay, let's pop this one back in and then freeze the others.
Yeah, well, I guess what you mean is that we need like an insurance policy in case some of them don't work out down the line. You need to make sure that you've got a bank in that fridge, in that freezer, whatever, of like 15, so that if one doesn't work, if the second one doesn't work, or if you want a sibling in the future, and like Tristan said, you come back in 3 years' time and my egg reserves are nil point, they're all gone, you've got those there saved. So it might not be that we can necessarily put one back in straight away afterwards, because obviously once you're pregnant, you can't then do IVF. So yeah, it's a little bit complicated. I mean, I'll be honest with you right now, even I, and I've literally got the first appointment tomorrow, haven't fully got my head around it yet. There's a lot of science, there's a lot of details, and there's also a lot of like little events that will happen throughout. So you've obviously got to learn to inject yourself, that's one thing. There's the whole thing of like egg retrieval. Tristan understands it far better than I do. It's gonna be a massive learning curve. We'll learn so much ourselves, you'll learn with us, hopefully. And I'm looking forward to the challenge. I'm a little bit frightened because you want to go in with hope, obviously, and like I keep saying to Tristan, like, put positive energy into the universe, like manifest good things. But you also have to be realistic, and you have to look at the science and the statistics and know that most people don't have a successful pregnancy on their first cycle, their first try, and also most people don't get 15 perfectly fertilized eggs that turn into beautiful embryos on their first try either. And that's kind of where we want to be. So this will most likely be a longer than 1 month journey. It will most likely be a considerably long journey, but still one that we're so happy to be on. The idea that we wouldn't be able to get pregnant, and that Amberley, who's our daughter that we lost at 18 weeks in 2020, August 2020, that she was just like the one and only miracle, and then that's it, is a thought that you can't think about that too much, because it's just too bleak. Science is brilliant, doctors are brilliant, we're putting all our faith in them, and although it's terrifying, we've got each other, haven't we?
Yeah, is that... Sorry. I thought you were just gesticulating towards me.
Being dramatic.
I have you, you're here, you're there too. Other than that, how are you feeling?
Nervous for the scan tomorrow. we're going to vlog that day. So you can watch that video at the point at which this video comes out. That video hopefully will follow 3 or 4 days later. So if you're not already, please subscribe to my channel and you can catch that and turn notifications on. But I'm really scared that he's going to tell me that I have cysts, that he's going to tell me that my tubes don't look like they're in the right place because endo has stuck them to something else. I don't know. I'm not sure of the science of it, but I'm worried that tomorrow's scan appointment is going to end in news that I need another laparoscopy, which I just don't want to do, because if I have a laparoscopy then the whole IVF process gets like halted. And as we've already mentioned, my egg count is low and time is not on our side whatsoever. So I'm scared about that. I'm also upset at the thought that you might not be able to come into the room with me, because I nearly swore then, but like COVID is still causing all kinds of problems. It's news that involves both of us. I appreciate it's my body and I have to be there to have it scanned, but like the results of that scan directly affect Tristan's life, and so Tristan should be allowed to be in the room, and we're from the same household and we've had COVID. So if anything, we're now immune, so we're not at any risk to ourselves catching it. We don't think we're going to be able to like pass it on. I'm not sure again of the science on that, but anyway, the point is just that I wish that Tristan would come with me, so I'm a little bit nervous about that. If it's bad news and you're not there, again, I'll just be like, not a happy bunny. But I'm also feeling quite calm, actually. I feel... Why do you think...
You just ranted for ages about how you're nervous and this and that. But actually, if I really think about it, I'm very calm. Not nervous at all.
Let me rephrase. I'm, like, quietly sure of us and of my body's capabilities to keep a baby, to hold a baby within it, because we managed that with Amberly for 18 weeks, even though she had a chromosome issue. So that in itself is like amazing. That I can't say my tummy, that's not why you keep a baby, but like my body could do that. I worry a little bit about the AMH count, I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I just think there's no point panicking. Whatever will be, will be. We'll go into it, we'll hear the news, and we'll come out the other side like we do with everything, and we'll assess, and then we'll move forward in the best way that we possibly can. So, like I said, I am nervous, but I think you can be a little bit nervous and calm. I mean, what about you?
I think, having not done this before, but we have got to this stage before. We've been here. 12 months ago we were here. So, and I think that the 12 months that have passed since then have done nothing but good for us. Because yes, it's been difficult. Yes, we lost Amberly, and it was by far the hardest thing that either of us have done, and as a couple, the hardest thing we will ever have to go through, I think.
Oh, I hope so. Touch some wood.
But we're stronger for it. We are emotionally and mentally stronger, and we know that we can deal with the worst things that can come our way.
Yeah, you were very good at that.
Thank you.
You are so great.
Thank you.
He is so great.
I try. My one thing about tomorrow, you said it already, the fact that I can't come into appointments, we don't think. There is nothing worse, trust me, than being the one sat in the car and either waiting for that call, that text, whatever the news is going to be. And that's happened to me so many times. Every scan we went to with the pregnancy. So bear in mind, these were scans where we found out that she was going to be in the right place. We found out that she had a heartbeat. And also the scan that we found out she wasn't going to make it. I was not in any of those. I was sat in the car. So I've got like low-key PTSD. I'm like, the thought of sitting in the car and waiting. What we do know is that whatever the news is from this scan and whatever the news is from this blood test, that regardless if you need a laparoscopy or not, IVF will go ahead this year.
Yeah, it will.
If you have to have a laparoscopy, the positive on that is that we know that everything inside you will be fixed.
Yeah.
So you're almost in a better place having had a laparoscopy, if you get what I mean. Because
yeah, it's like an MOT.
Literally is.
For a long car journey.
And it's funny because you have one every year. It's like a 12-month thing. So maybe you just need an MOT. You need your MOT. That's what you need. So that's that side of it. I think for the whole IVF process, obviously I'm excited because having had this gem of news and excitement thrown at us and then taken away from us so horribly in Amberly, we got a little taste of what it will be like. And regardless of all of those feelings I have towards everything that went on, underlying through all of that is still the excitement that we got to that position and we were pregnant and we had a gender reveal party, which obviously is very different. But like these little things that you do and that excitement that we had, I want that again, and I want to be able to plan names again. I want to be able to plan everything you get with a baby again.
There's also actually a point that we haven't yet made, which is sad, but is also quite lovely, which is that tomorrow was the original date that Amberly was due. So her due date kept getting pushed back because her size was abnormal, which we now know is due to the chromosome issue. But at the time we didn't know, and it kind of, at first it was like early January and then it was like mid-January. I often forget about the original due dates because that was back in like week 7 or something. That was
earlier than that.
Was
almost,
it? Week 6?
Well, we knew our dates, obviously. Our dates. And that was the first scan, which Mr. Baghdadi. So you missed your period. We got a positive pregnancy test when you were 3 days after missing your period. Yeah. And within 5 days of that, we had a scan. So we were like, 4 or 5 weeks pregnant. Yeah. So early. But
then by the we had like a private 8-week scan already, we were pushed back a little bit, which we just took for, okay, she's just going to be a small baby. We now know what was going on there, but it just meant that we forgot about this original early due date. And it was my mum that pointed it out, and she said, guys, have you not realised that your first IVF appointment is on the day that Amberly was meant to be born? The first date, the date that when you knew because you knew when you did the, yeah, what did you say?
Did that thing.
That thing. It's the same date. And there's something so beautiful about that. It's almost, do you know what? It's almost like she kind of is watching over us. I know that sounds so corny.
I know what you mean, though.
But it's kind of like she's there and she's a bit like, yeah, I was supposed to be here. So this is my way of like helping you. And so I hope that it's a good omen.
Sure it will be. We are deserving of some good luck. We said this the other day. We've had one of the roughest 2020s that I've heard of. You know, in terms of what we went through with Amberly, and getting so far as well. Getting so far along and then having that taken away was tough. But as we said already, that's just proved that we are able to do it and we are compatible. We've not mentioned it yet, but the issue that Amberly had was, amongst other things, triploidy. And that shows it wasn't to do with us. It wasn't you and I not being compatible. No. It's not a genetic issue. It was just rotten, awful luck that this happened to us. And we know your body can not only look after a baby and hold a baby, but it can also hold a baby that it really shouldn't be holding for like 18 weeks. Now 18 weeks was from the scans at 12 weeks, which were already behind. So we think we were more like 20, maybe 21 weeks.
We think we were 21 weeks. If you do the maths and you work it out, that's where we were. Obviously the doctors told us, because they were trying to be reassuring, oh, you've got your dates wrong, or is your cycle irregular? And that's how you kind of justify and you think, oh yeah, maybe I did ovulate later, or maybe I've messed it up. I didn't mess it up.
We couldn't have been 3 weeks out.
Yeah.
Because if we'd been 3 weeks out, we've literally finished doing the deed and walked into the room with Mr. Baghdadi, you know what I mean? So like it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
So we knew that we were much further along than they said we were. So 21 weeks you held her for.
Yeah.
When you really shouldn't have done.
Yeah, like nature, your body, the reason why people have early miscarriages is because your body recognises that it's not a viable pregnancy. They're like, and there's a chromosome issue here, this baby wouldn't survive, and therefore you have a miscarriage. For some reason, sheer damn determination and stubbornness, which does sound a lot like me.
Sounds very, it resonates really much.
Yeah. I would let go and cross my legs, and she stayed there. Yeah, she stayed there.
You know, legs crossed, it all goes okay this time as well.
Yeah. Legs crossed, fingers crossed, see what you did there.
That's my joke.
I think that's us done. Basically, the takeaways are we're starting IVF.
Yep.
Tomorrow we have an incredibly important appointment that determines whether IVF does start or it's a laparoscopy. We're going to get a new AMH count, which if you're a fellow IVF gal, you'll know is incredibly important. And we're going to film as much as we possibly can. So yeah, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do. If you found this video helpful or interesting, or you just pity us, you can give it a like, because that's always kind. My Instagram is miranda.burns.
My Instagram is tristan.hall.
Hey. Hey.
It's almost like we did that, planned that.
Oh, who'd have thought it? You can find us over there. We're going to be sharing as much as we possibly can without annoying our followers. And if you're in the same boat, I'd love to hear from you. Like I said, you can find me on Instagram. You can comment down below. I'd love to hear your stories. If you have any questions, if you have any particular videos that you would like us to film because you know you might be going through IVF and you're interested in seeing how it works out, please do let me know. I'd really appreciate feedback.
Not just girls either.
No. Oh,
Guys,
God, no.
if you have a question, if you're like, what's my partner going to be like when she's pumping her body full of hormones?
Yeah.
I can just video her for a day and walk around seeing what she'll do.
That's a really nice idea for a video. We should do that. I follow my hormonal girlfriend.
Or I'm really worried and nervous about how to do my sample. Or best tips for ensuring
Doing a sample.
I don't think anyone needs tips for doing a sample because women.
The live reaction
we
to my
know-
sample. You know, girls do like a live pregnancy test, like boyfriend reacts. You could do like live sperm test, girlfriend. This is a joke. It's a very bad joke.
Christ.
You actually don't do that.
Stay tuned for that one. Sorry. Anything that you might want to know, just either comment down below or send us a DM on Instagram, drop us a follow, and we will be sure to read through them and make sure we film those.
Yeah.
Too.
Yay!
Go make a baby.
IVF friends. Whoa.